A squirrel!
Wow, squirrel!
What? Wait, that one looks a bit weird. That's definitely not a squirrel. Well, let's find out about that in our little red jungle.
Wow, look, now here's so many plants and animals.
Hey, hello! So, squirrels, they are one of the most common native mammals in Singapore, and you can find them all around. From our parks and reservoirs and forests. Okay, but next time when you're out and about in our nature reserves, are you sure that what you're seeing is actually a squirrel? So in Singapore, we actually have several species of squirrels, including some flying ones, huh? But the two most common ones are these fellas. So as you can see, visually there are some slight differences, right? So for this one over here, it has those black and white stripes on the side of the body, right? And its belly is also this orangey colour. So this is the Plantain Squirrel. And it's the one that most people encounter because they are the ones that can be found in our more urban spaces and urban parks. Now, this fella on the other hand, this is actually a different species, right? It has no stripes on the side and it is just a plain brown, and it's also much smaller and slender. Hence its name as the Slender Squirrel. And for this species, it can only be found in our forests. And so obviously squirrels are very cute, right? But they also have an important ecological role. So firstly, fun fact, squirrels are actually omnivores, right? Most people think that they stuff their mouths with only like fruits and nuts, but actually they will also eat things like tree bark and insects and even bird eggs. And so with the eat vegetable side of things, squirrels are actually very important seed dispersers, right? Especially because they are very skittish and they jump all around. So all of the fruits and seeds that they eat will be spread out far and wide, leading to lots of germination and even more baby plants. And then with your eat smaller critters side, they will actually help to control the number of insects, and they themselves are actually being hunted by your snakes and birds of prey. So again, as with all of my videos, I always like to say, one creature can really affect the whole biodiversity and ecosystem, right? So all of these squirrels, they are not just a cute face. Wait, one of these is not like the others. Because wait a minute, this one isn't a squirrel. Because this is a common treeshrew. So this fella, it looks like a squirrel, right? It's about the same size, and look at that bushy tail, And it's also an omnivore too, so it eats lots of fruits and seeds and lots of insects. But if you actually look at its face, it actually has a much more pointy nose or face shape, and it has a pale stripe on its shoulders. But like, so what, In first glance, look like squirrel, what? Well, in actuality, treeshrews are nowhere near related to squirrels, and in fact, they are not even rodents, which are the larger order of animals that squirrels belong to. And they do look similar simply because of something called convergent evolution, right? When you're around that same small size and you climb around from tree to either find food or to escape predators, somehow, this appearance, especially with that bushy tail, it is just the optimum all-purpose body part to have. So firstly, it is for balance, right? Although the common treeshrew won't climb on the tree as high as our squirrels, they do still scurry up and down a tree, and they like to jump around, and as with all animals with tails, the tail will help with counterbalance, right? But then secondly, why so bushy, Well, it seems like if a squirrel or treeshrew actually misses their jump off a tree, their tail can actually act as a parachute of sort that can help to slow down their fall. And it can also potentially act as a cushion when they land. So it's like a built-in butt pad. So considering how similar both these groups of animals live their lives, it makes sense for both the treeshrew and the squirrel to evolve a similar looking tail. And of course, the brown colour would also help with camouflage, which also makes them look very, very similar. So one thing that they don't share are those teeth, right? So squirrels are rodents, and that means that their teeth will never stop growing. And it's the same for your rats and your capybaras and your beavers, right? All the other rodents. And that's why squirrels need to grind their teeth, and it's probably also why they need to chew and gnaw on and eat tree bark, right? Like I mentioned earlier. And that's something that tree shrews don't need to do. So it's really all about the small differences, right? But if we actually go out and try to observe how they look and how they behave, I'm sure in no time you can also become a squirrel/tree shrew expert. And so the next time when you're out and about and you try to listen for them or try to spot them, you can now then better appreciate these small critters and the important work they do for our forests. And okay, this marks the end of our episode, but before we go, I'd like to give a big shout out to our patrons. Mr. Chu, Spotmash, no, Engler, HR Queen, Limpets, Muffin, Nana, Silmot, Jelly, Jets, Kappa A5, Pingu, Master Job, Tango, Amal, Delo, Neko, Sama, Uncle Sam, Amelia, Uncle Kyong, Fauzi, Raylanol, Cookers by Low Eli, Big T Circles, Amy, Stacy, Lou, Quack, and Mama and Momo. Thank you so much for supporting this channel directly, and if you would like to do the same, you can find the link to my Patreon down in the description below. Do also follow me on my other social media platforms and subscribe to watch more videos of our local ecology. Thanks again for watching, and remember, keep your eyes peeled because it is a jungle out there with lots of squirrels and tree shrews jumping all around, and just now I also was jumping around because I thought it was a cool transition to do for a squirrel episode, but clearly as you can see in the whole video I was like sweating and I'm really tired, so you know what? See you next episode. Bye bye.